ran into a problem. You never know what you're going to get when you buy stuff from eBay. Thought I knew what I was getting, but I had not seen the part. I had not seen the replacement part. So, you know, I pulled out the old heater core, because you just saw that on my time lapse. This is the old one right here. Kind of goes through the firewall kind of like this. I'm trying not to spill out the coolant. So this is kind of how it sits. This is how it sits in the air distribution box in the under the dash. This is kind of how it lays. And then these two, the inlet and outlet side of the hot water, goes through the firewall right here and is clamped on here. So this is what it looks like from the factory. This is the unit that my assumption is that it is indeed leaking somewhere in around here. Somewhere in this vicinity right here, it's definitely leaking. I think it's probably this seam. So there's a seam right here, and it's a little wet right there, and this has been out. It should have been dry. So with this being a little bit wet, I mean, it definitely looks like it's right around this seam right here is where it was leaking. So, but the water was actually, the coolant was actually dripping down here, but I think it was just dripping from here and just kind of running down the edge and then running down. So that's kind of what I had going on. I did order another heater core, and it came in the right box and everything. I mean, this came bubble wrapped. I mean, it looks legit. Spectra Premium 98089, and this is what I got. I got this, some bubble wrap, some kind of paperwork, 2 O-rings. That's all I got. If you notice, this has 2 clamp type fittings here, and on the original, everything is pretty much the same except for one fatal flaw, which is it's missing a lot of pipe. It's not going to work.
First things first, we're going to get the dash cleaned up. Let's get the cover off the top of it with a little pick tool. Now once we get that cover off, we can get the center channel speaker and the navigation unit out. It's going to be some T25 Torx screws. Looks like there's only about 3 T25s holding that speaker in. And it's actually 2 sections. It's got a mid-range and a tweeter. This is where I start realizing that I'm just going to leave the dash pad on. I don't want to mess up the OEM stuff. Going to put it all in as one big unit. That's the harness for the roof that I got from the donor car. We're going to work on getting this cluster out. You can notice the Artisan cluster has the blue gauge faces. Yeah, I'm realizing real quick that I'm not getting that dash pad off. Just going to look it over and make sure Didn't damage anything during transport. Gonna use the air compressor along with the microfiber cloth to get all the years of crud out of this dash. Not trying to make it new, just want it to be clean. Just going to spray this down piece by piece with some Folex. Comes straight out of the gallon jug into the spray bottle. Spray it on the surface, use a soft bristle brush, and then just wipe the residue down with a microfiber cloth. All these microfiber cloths that I use, I purchased them at Sam's Club. I'm going to work on getting this cluster all nice and shiny again. It's got tons of little scratches. The machine I'm using here is a dual action polisher. Came from Chemical Guys. It's a Torque brand. I've upgraded it to the 6-inch hook and loop pad, and this fine foam pad is from Harbor Freight. The polish I'm using on it is the Headlight Restore from Chemical Guys. It's a very fine polish, and you can see it looks brand new again. So we'll just put it back in. This is the unit from the donor car. I just figured this cluster is not going to work with the scratches, major scratches in it from the donor car. So I went back and looked at the one that came off their original OEM one off of this car, and it was actually in better shape, so I used it instead. Right here I'm just kind of explaining that that headlight switch has these little clips on the side, and this car being 11 years old, those clips like to break out. So I'm just taking the one that broke, taking a piece of masking tape and just taping it to the side. Later on I'm figure out when I went to Georgia, actually found one to replace this one. It was not broken. It was from a 2011. Then we can start getting this dash back together. Start working on some other stuff. So we'll get that mid-range speaker assembly put back in. The Naviga unit right here. See, I just popped that cover off the front of it. It's got a couple little broken tabs on it. So it kind of really won't stay on there. I'm going to put it back in there anyways. Haven't really decided what to do with it yet. What I would like to do is find a similar sized Android head unit, touchscreen, capacitive touchscreen, and replace this screen with that unit, and then figure out how to get the steering wheel controls to work with it. But we'll see. The Navi units in these P1s wasn't all that great from what I'm seeing. So maybe it's an opportunity to upgrade the unit to something more modern. It's looking like it's going to cost about $300 US in order to activate that navigation unit. Pretty proud of how this turned out. I put it in there wrong. Gotta put that bottom section in first and snap in the top. Looks new again. This is the factory 6 CD changer. And what I'm finding out right now, that's funny. I was looking in there to see if there's any discs in there. There's not. But I put a disc in it here recently just to see if it worked. It didn't work. And now I can't get the disc out. It's stuck. The donor unit side curtain airbags need to go in. Got these series of special clips that don't come out very easily, but I did figure out a way to get them out mostly without bending them, so they just need a little bit of tweaking to get them back to where they need to be. just a little bit. Got to get the rear section in first. Then connect the electrical connector. And then basically just snap it in place. Going to be a 10 millimeter on the front, 10 millimeter in the back. This front section of it actually has a little hook. You hook it in, and then it has one of the little press type retainers to keep that hook in its hole. We'll start on the driver's side. Got to get that C-pillar cover off. My headliner's already out, so I don't have to remove it, but if you have a headliner, you would have to drop it. You can see my B-pillar covers are already off, and the A-pillar covers are already off. I've not installed those yet. And I gotta move the pile of junk. Then we're going to move up a little bit. I'm going to take this roof harness that I got from the donor and lay it out, plug it in.
Wow, 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 wow. Look at this. This looks wonderful. I touched up the tracks a little bit. For 11-year-old seats, this looks phenomenal. Finished driver and passenger front seats. and they look great. They turned out excellent. The leather is still good and pliable and soft. They smell good. They smell like leather again. Yeah, I mean, they look excellent. I mean, look at that. That turned out great. I've got to take this shift blind out and replace it with the new one. I did get it in for my PD. Man, guys, look at this. Look at this. Check it out. That's what that looks like. That is too cool. Tree just swaying around. That antenna right there makes a lot of noise. Makes it sound a whole lot worse than it really is. That's pretty cool. Hurricane Sally, 2020. We got the dash in. She is in. She is looking great. Seats are just chilling. They're not bolted down yet. Got to get the carpets back in. All the panels, the column, all the audio equipment, the new shift blinds got to go in, and then all the trim panels except for the sunroof. The headliner panel. Headliner is not going back in right now. I've got to find a new sound deadening mat for the roof right there, install that, and then get the new headliner, which is laying over there up against the wall. Got to get that wrapped along with these door panel inserts. I got an upholstery guy that wants to do those, so got to get those done ASAP. So working on that stuff. I've got a freaking pile of parts. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is crazy. Pile of freaking parts. So got so much to do. Got to get this done. So stay tuned. I'll be back in just a few minutes, and hopefully we'll have some more of this put back together. This is looking freaking awesome. Dash is in. I've already gotten everything's wired, so the headlight switch is wired. Bolts are in, screws in. Got to do this little under piece. This piece right here goes under there. Parts pile is getting much smaller. BS module is reinstalled. I've got a new shift blind reinstalled. I'm ready for all of this. Radio is reinstalled. USB part on this new dash has USB, so that is freaking awesome. So I got the carpets in. I cleaned out that floor vent right there. It had a piece of plastic in it. I had to get it all out and get it cleaned out. I even threw in the new floor mats. I got to swap this steering wheel out with the newer one because it has the navigation controls on the back side of the steering wheel. Whatever I can do to get this car back to 100,000 miles is the plan currently. So obviously I can't fix things like that. I don't know. I'm going to let the upholstery guy look at these two little pecs and see if they can resolve that. Hopefully they can, but I don't have my hopes up about it. Anyways, I'm going to get to the console and swap this aluminum piece out, swap the harness out in the console, get that console installed, and then I'll start working on the steering column, getting that installed so I can get the plates back in and all the rest of this dash back together. So hopefully I get this thing running again tonight. Hopefully. It ran when I took it apart, so hopefully it runs when I get it back together. Going really freaking well. Looks awesome. I've gotten the weather stripping back on around the doors. The dash is completely in. You've already seen that. I've got the console back in. New shift blind. All that's cleaned up now. I've got the steering wheel in. It's all cleaned up. That's the new steering wheel with the navigation controls right here, which is freaking smooth. Hopefully all that works. Have not gotten power in here yet, so floor mats in, all the carpets. I'm going to try to get this finished up real quick, finish putting the front end back together, get it started up, and then we're on the road to working on the engine after that. We should be able to apply power to it at that point, give her a start. Everything is back together at this point. The Navi screen, I haven't figured out how to get that working yet. I must be missing something. Obviously, we don't have a headliner in here, but man, this is... looks good. It doesn't stink in here at all. It smells like a normal car. Everything looks really clean. Back seat, I've got the instrument cluster and the O-sheet handles that need to go in. But everything looks really, really good. It's looking awesome. I need to figure out what I'm going to do about the interior of this right here in the interior of this, because it had this like felt-like material. The Navi comes with a freaking remote. What kind of crap is that? I put batteries in it, nothing works. So I got to figure that out. I don't know if it's something in the CM that's keeping it from working, but you know, here we go. So cold start. Key in. All right, we're gonna go to drive. Gonna have to pull up a little bit here. Open this thing up. trees down everywhere. Got all these tree branches. Still got, it's gonna take a while to clean this stuff up. It's just gonna take a while. There's freaking trees down everywhere. Look at this. It's insane. I'm a lot more confident driving this car now that I've worked on it a good bit. I feel like it may not leave me stranded at this point. May not. I say may not. I don't know. Hadn't been driven in a long time, so don't know. Sure ain't nothing back here to hit. That's one bad thing about these older cars. They don't have backup cameras. Terrible, terrible tires. you want to know where the hood release is on one of these P1s, see that red latch right there? That's where it's at. It's right there behind the OBD port, right there behind it. Oh my lord, look. She's gonna need a wash now. And then driving through all that mud over there in that new neighborhood. I think the valve tapping, that's just a little bit of a concern for me. So, looks like the coolant is good. It's right at the line of where it needs to be. Let's see here, run for just a minute. That way I know if it's leaking or not. Needs belts. Needs belts really bad. Needs a timing belt really bad, but that one's in better shape. A lot better shape. So. Take a little look underneath now and see. There's some water dripping. Wow. See a little water, but nothing. And coolant. I can't believe it. Wow. That's insane. Insane how muddy that street is. Everything is so dirty now. I'll probably give this thing a wash before I go to Savannah, before I go out of town. But, I mean, look at those LED headlights. Don't they look awesome? Give her full throttle. Bull rip. Wow. Pulling. Wow. Don't know if you're going to make it with me all the way back, but that's pretty much a wrap anyways. Thanks for enjoying the first drive with me with my Copart 2009 Volvo S40 T5 all-wheel drive R-Design. Such a mouthful every time I say it or type it on Instagram. It's crazy. The car is crazy.